Welcome back, friends. This is Music Mindfulness, and I'm Kalani Das, and this is going to be a short session today, and I think one that you're going to enjoy and put to use right away. At least I hope you are. So this is Music Mindfulness. Let's review the some of the main concepts of mindfulness, because I think it's good to revisit these once in a while. What is mindfulness? How can music inform that? What are the lessons the musician or the music mind, the music mindset can bring to you that you can put into practice? Because that's what it's all about, just improving the quality of your life so you can feel more how you want to feel and be more how you want to be in the world. So very simple today. I've got 3 words, 3 ideas that you can take and put to use right away. So mindfulness in general, before we get to those 3 words, let's just review what is mindfulness. It's an idea of a practice or a set of practices that are aimed at helping us feel more present, feel more grounded, feel more at peace, and generally tune in to the here and now, the present moment, so we can spend less time and attention in the past, reviewing things, ruminating, remembering things, reliving past traumas, etc., and in the future, planning, worrying, imagining what's going to happen, wondering, and both of those things, thinking about the past and thinking about the future, are not in and of themselves inherently bad. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, we need to plan. Of course, we can learn from where we've been, review things, learn from history. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is a misuse of remembering, or a unskilled use of imagining the future. Generally considered to be, if you want to use words, if you want to label them, you can call it ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. So how do we avoid that? How do we expand the present, the amount of time and energy that we spend in the present? One of the best ways I know how to do that, and it's not always easy. I have a fertile imagination, just like a lot of people, so it's easy for me to get caught up in my own thoughts or get lost in my own thoughts. How do we find our way back to the present if we're getting lost in thought? Pay attention. So to me, one of the 3 pillars or legs of the mindfulness platform is rooted in attention. And you'll see this or hear this spoken about when people talk about mindfulness. Attending to the present, paying attention. Why does music help us do that? Because as a musician, one of our main skills, hopefully, is listening. Not just listening, but feeling. When I say listening, I mean using our entire being to note or attend to what is happening now. Music is not done in the past. It's not done by you. It's not done in the past. It's not done in the future. Music is a here and now practice. So it conditions us and it demands of us deep attention, listening, looking, feeling, touching. Either that's what we're doing personally, like the drum here. When I'm playing the drum, I'm feeling all sorts of things. I'm hearing the drum, of course, but I'm also attending to the feeling of playing the drum, the feeling of holding the drum. What does the mallet feel like in my hand? How are my muscles working? And I'm paying attention to all those things. How does what I do physically affect the sound? I'm getting a feedback loop. I'm listening. I'm changing things that I'm doing. I'm experimenting. And this relates to the second concept, but we're not quite there. So paying attention, just pay attention. Be in the moment. And how do we do that? Again, we do it with our senses, not our mind. We don't think about what's happening. All right, this is important. Thinking about what's happening is another thing. That's a separate category. You can do that. But what we're talking about here is receiving and noting and just being present so that you gather good quality information. I mean, the only reality is, what is reality? Reality is what you experience. It's what you sense. Are there different realities for different people? Absolutely. Could there be multiple realities? Probably. Who knows? You're not going to know because your reality is what you experience. So don't worry about other stuff. Don't worry about the other realities, but pay attention to your reality. Tune into your senses. That's the best advice I could ever give. It's the best advice I could give myself. What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What am I hearing? What am I touching, tasting, smelling, etc.? And if you don't have the use of all of your senses, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're going to be less present, right? It just means presence means, and attention means paying attention to what is available to you in the moment. That's all. As an aside, I would recommend that you not imagine too much that there's other things out there that you're not sensing. That gets into the area of mystical thinking, for example, or what we sometimes people call the metaphysical, the things that we're not able to perceive of. You can talk about it, you can think about it, you can read books about it, you can write about it, but I would recommend that you not include those ideas in your day-to-day living, in your experience of the world, because your experience of the world is exactly that. It's your experience of the world, not someone else's words about it or someone else's writing about it or even your own imagination, all right? That is thinking. That's imagining. That's not what you're sensing. So just tune into what you're sensing. That would help ground you in the present moment. All right, so pay attention. The next thing, and something that we often engage in music making, is acceptance. Accepting what's there. This relates to what many mindfulness teachers talk about as non-judgmental. Have a non-judgmental attitude. I like to put it or frame it in more of a positive. So when we say don't be judgmental, okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But then what do we do? What are we doing? I mean, I know I'm not judging, but what am I doing instead? So accepting what's there. Do you have a choice? When we push back against what is there, now we have a problem. Now we have tension. Tension or stress or anxiety is often caused by unmet expectations. Unmet expectations, or we could say an unmatched what's happening versus what I want to have happening, right? Those things don't match. So when things are in conflict, reality or what I'm sensing is going this way, and my mind and my desire and my wanting is going another way. Now we have a conflict. Now we have the definition of tension. How do we fix that? Well, you bend reality to your will, right? No, you accept. It doesn't mean, now when I say accept, I'm not saying that you cannot want to change it. This is an important thing. I think a lot of people think that if you adopt an accepting attitude, that you just accept whatever and that you don't care about your state or the state of others or the state of the world. That's not what we're saying. That's not what that means. You can care and you can try to change it. You can try to improve. You can try to earn more money or get rid of all your things. You can try to do things, and you can still accept the current state, the reality, right? So we can have goals we can try to achieve, but we still are in acceptance of what's happening. I can pick up the drum, and again, as a musician, when I play, I have a goal, but I have to accept what is coming out of the instrument at that moment. You see what I'm saying? So being accepting is actually a large part of what we develop when we improvise music. We have an impulse, we have a plan, we have resources, instruments, and we start on the journey. And you can think about maybe traveling yourself. If you've traveled alone or in a small group, you start on the journey, and then things start to happen. And you get feedback from the environment, you get feedback from your choices, and you use the resources you have available to you at the time, and you do the best you can with what you have. And that's all you can ever do. And so at every moment, there's a new reality. There's something new to accept. And yes, you can keep trying to move in a different direction. That's fine. That's what a journey is. That's what we learn when we improvise. So improvisation is really key to entering into the acceptance mindset. And as a musician, I value greatly my years of experience in improvisation. Improvisation is defined as essentially creating and making do with what is available in the moment. I have a whole book on improvisation. So that's what it is. So isn't that amazing that music improvisation can inform your mindfulness practice in as much as when we play music, we improvise, we try things, we pay attention, and we accept what's happening. Now, we may not like it. That's a different issue, all right, than accepting it. Accepting means I'm aligning with the present, right? I'm aligning, and therefore I get rid of the tension of wanting things to be different than they are. That can be a lot of tension for people. And maybe you and other people you know, think about that for a second. How often have you felt anxiety or frustration or anger or jealousy or fear or worry about things not matching your expectations? How do you fix that? Acceptance. It's pretty simple. It's not easy to do always because we're conditioned otherwise. We're actually, in a lot of our enculturation has to do with wanting things, striving, pursuing, and a lot of that mindset can result in non-acceptance. However, we've just talked about how you can have a goal, you can strive, you can try to achieve things, and you can be accepting at the same time. The two are not mutually exclusive if you know how to do it, if you know how to use it. So practice that, and improvisation is a great way to get there. Finally, one of the main ways that I think we can bring a human element and an emotional element, because look, we're not just living just to do stuff, right? What's the point? The point of life, really, to me, is it's the earth looking at itself, examining itself, celebrating itself. I mean, I'm using a kind of a metaphor, but I look at everything as an expression of the earth. All right, let's just take that as a given, or you could use the word the universe if you don't want to use earth. But what is life? It's a celebration. So to me, the key, and some people use the word gratitude, I'm going to use the word appreciation right now. If you can be in a mindset of appreciating the opportunities you have, the time you have here in your life, right? That little brief amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Wake up, wow. I'm so appreciative of this opportunity, just the opportunity. Forget about what happens. Are you appreciating every moment of your life? I hope so. It truly is the greatest gift, and everybody would agree, right? But how often do we feel that? Are we remembering that? Or are we getting caught up in the daily grind, in the rat race. And again, you can achieve, you can have goals, you can strive, you can try things. But you can also, along the way, smell the flowers, stop and smell the roses or the flowers, whatever flowers you like. Some people would say gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. Same basic idea. And that is a choice, right? That's a mindset. That's a attitude of appreciation. Who else thinks that everything is an expression of the earth? Or, all of this stuff is the same stuff. It's just taking different forms based on energy, based on relationships, the dynamic churning of the universe, the earth, the development of whatever this is, the universe. Well, somebody who wrote the Radiance Sutras, so I'm going to do a quick reading. It's super short and somewhat profound. So here's the reading for today. The flowers, the incense, grain, spices, and honey offered in worship are made out of the same divine stuff as you. Who then is worshipped? Like I said, and this was written 1,000+ years ago, as I mentioned, it's all the same stuff, and life is a celebration. It's the earth saying, wow, oh my God, look at this, bing, bing, bing. Every expression of the earth, is the universe, is part of the universal song. As a musician, every time I get to play music, especially with other people, and we can think of that as just connecting, communion, the communion with nature, the communion with music, the communion with spirit. Every opportunity to play music is an example and an opportunity to feel that appreciation. I know when I recently had an opportunity to play live music and improvise with some of my colleagues at a live event, first time in a while because of the pandemic. And what a joy it was. What a opportunity to create and to put into practice everything that I've been talking about here. Paying attention, tuning in, accepting what's happening. Oh, this person's coming in. Oh, that person's going. Oh, this is changing. Oh, this is changing. Everything's changing. Great. It's exciting. How can I relate to this? How am I plugging it? What how are we moving together through the music? It's very intimate. It's very exciting. Music making is believed by many, including me, to be one of the most intimate relationships, similar to love or physical intimacy. And if you think about it, or if you be about it, if you do it, you realize music making is people moving together, connecting physically through the sound, through the air, the space, co-creating something that is in many ways greater than the sum of its parts, right? So in a way, it is extremely intimate. The sound is entering and exiting from everywhere, every body. It's a very intimate relationship. So again, music making is a wonderful platform or space or experience or opportunity to experience appreciation for yourself and for others, and for the amazing creative force that binds us all. The spirit, what I call spirit, which is the animating force in the universe. It's what moves everything. And certainly we wouldn't have music without it. It's a key ingredient. All right, so let's review. What are three, and I'm not saying this is an exhaustive list. There's other elements to mindfulness, but what are the three big ones? pay attention, meaning use your senses and ground into, ground into your senses rather than your thoughts. Acceptance, which is the what do you do with what you're attending to? How do you treat it? Do you want it to be different? Hopefully not, because it's not going to be different. Can you align with it in your purpose, in your being, in your actions? It doesn't mean you can't want to change it. You can. But do you accept it? That's the question. So accept what is, and then go from there. Third, appreciation. Do you have an underlying current of appreciation pushing you down? I'm going to keep with this metaphor, pushing you down the river of life. Are you riding on that wave? Are you feeling that in every moment when you wake up, when you pause and you see something beautiful like a sunset, or you notice some flowers, or you hear the sound of children playing? Are you pausing to appreciate that? Little moments. Are you cherishing them? Are you creating them? Are you giving yourself the opportunity to have those beautiful small, moments of intimacy, let's call them, or an appreciation? So you can do all those things in your own way. You don't have to do it like anyone else. All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. We'll see you next time. I'm Kalani. This is Music Mindfulness. If you'd like to connect with me more, you can do that at patreon.com/Kalani, or send me a message through kalanidas.com, where you can also listen to the Evolve podcast series. See you next time.